What do you know about southern Alberta? Have you ever been to Pincher Creek, Blairmore, Frank? Drive south along the Rockies and you'll find no shortage of small towns with big stories, all sharing histories of mining, logging, mountaineering, and rum running. The kind of places where history lies in the dirt and hangs in the sky. But it's not just about the past. Who lives here now? Ranchers, environmentalists, mountain bikers, brewers. These communities are full of rugged characters that call these places home. We are Apparate Collective, and we wanted to see it for ourselves, to explore the landscape, the food, the stories, and the people that shape the area today. So buckle up and come with us as we explore the hidden gem that is the Crowsnest Pass. We started our trip with a visit to Thanksgiving Ranch, where we met up with Aidan and his dad Brad, who gave us a rundown of the family-owned property and insight into its history.
Our parents bought this place in 1980. At that point, there was no road. There was no power coming into this place. There was some rudimentary corrals where they grazed cattle in the summertime, but there was no fences. So they built the road, put in the phone line, built this place, and then we changed it and fixed it up and modernized it. We're trying to provide a custom tailored, private, exclusive experience that shocks a lot of people that it's tailored to them. One lady from Ontario, she came here and she loved being here. And the next year she phones me and she's like, "Hi, this is Susan from Ontario. I'm coming home."
This is the lodge, so it sleeps 14 people. The ranch itself is just under 4,000 acres of land, 40 miles of fence line. We run anywhere between 1,600 to 1,100 heifers.
Every single one of these animals was shot by my grandpa, except for the birds of prey and the buffalo above me, which was a gift. Everything was shot on the ranch, except for the caribou and the moose. Those were shot in the Yukon. The wolf is the second largest wolf ever shot, recorded, killed in the world.
After our tour of the lodge, we headed to the stables to meet Aidan's horse Scout and get a tour of their horse riding trails.
I'm gonna get you three to hop in the side by side, and then I'm gonna lead you guys out there.
Do you know why it's called a side-by-side?
Because you said side by side?
That's right.
Oh.
Hey guys, listen, it's Aidan's fault, not ours. So then he'll like come up and it'll be like all like dramatic.
Yeah.
So we offer 90-minute rides and 3-hour rides. The 90-minute ride, we go from the barn towards Victoria Peak, which is the tallest mountain, and then a little bit between that valley. When we went on the 3-hour ride, we went all the way up the valley, all the way to the end of our property, and a massive loop back up that hill, turned around and went back home.
After a beautiful trek through the valley, we stopped by the family house to play fetch with the dogs and say our goodbyes. Our first Apparate destination was Man River Brewing, a cool craft brewery with great beer and food. We needed to recap our adventures at Thanksgiving Ranch and contemplate some serious questions.
So like, what makes a soup? Is chili a soup? While chili shares some characteristics with soup, it's generally considered a stew or its own unique category rather than soup.
A quick pit stop and we were back on the road, headed for Blairmore. As you can imagine, we worked up quite the appetite while on the road, and luckily, we knew the perfect place to stop when we arrived, the Pass Beer Company. We met up with co-founder Danielle, who is always serving up seriously delicious beer, pizza, and wings. The first two things you notice when you walk in are the brewery and the pizza oven, so there's not much debate about what you're in for. If the pizza isn't world famous yet, it should be, and the beer is amazing. I asked for some slushy on mine, no judging. This is the perfect place to relax after a hike or an afternoon of mountain biking. Make this a stop on your trip and you won't be disappointed. We ended the night with a drive through the mountains and a beer by the water, a perfect way to unwind and prepare for day 2. We were up bright and early to meet with Heather, the founder of Uplift Adventures, who took us on a guided hike. After getting a much needed coffee, we followed Heather along a bumpy road that brought us to our hiking trailhead.
Haven't spilled my coffee yet, so that was fun. Yeah.
For me, I just love getting people outdoors. Yeah, I went through the process of becoming certified with the Association of Canadian Mountain Guides, and that allows me to run a professional guiding company. And then I started Uplift in 2018. Working in the backcountry, I would always find really cool stuff, and I wanted to know more about what I was finding, so that's when I started digging into the history, and it's fascinating. There's probably about 13 different coal companies that were around Crowsnest Pass, and when they left an area, they would sell a lot of the equipment off to a different company. It was a lot to move a fan house though, and the fans were used so that there was air circulating in the mines, so there's several big fans around Crowsnest Pass. And the International Coke and Coal Company's fan house is really nice.
I thought we were doing the trail with no mosquitoes.
All right, so this is the International Coke and Coal fan house. The good stuff is this way. Come on in. Just watch your step. So if you follow this back, we would come to the mine entrance, one of the mine entrances. And then you'll see, because the fans are almost directly in front of the mine entrances. This one's a pretty impressive one though, because there's a whole building with it, where the other ones are just a fan. So this building specifically would have been built in the early 1900s. And I love looking at how they constructed their buildings. A whole bunch of, rock with mortar over top.
Yeah.
Every single mine had a disaster. The biggest mine disaster was the Hillcrest mine. 189 men passed away in that mine explosion. The last coal mines shut down in 1983. So yeah, this is a pretty amazing building that's still intact. I've been here 11 years and I'm not done doing everything I want to do.
Yeah.
And I'm out almost every day.
Really?
And there's still so much I want to do. My mom said, Heather, only boring people are bored. Yeah. So I tell people I moved somewhere where I'd never be bored. Yeah.
The hiking tour was incredible. Heather is such a wealth of knowledge, and her passion for the area's history is fascinating. Our apéro for the afternoon was none other than the RumRunner, a restaurant and pub inspired by the bootlegging scene in Crowsnest Pass during the 1920s. Their cool vibe makes them a favorite with the locals. They have a very cool speakeasy in the basement and some of the biggest burgers we've ever seen. Like, seriously, look at this thing. Next on the itinerary, back to the pass to meet with Carrie for the lowdown on the local mountain bike scene and her company, Sweet Riders.
So I lived in Japan for 23 years. I was introduced to the race scene in Japan. And I was like, oh, I want to do this. How do you do this? This would be great. So I got into the cycling scene, fell in love with it, got sponsored, and then just started living a magical life. And I was like, this is what I want to do. It gave me so much in my life. I wanted to give back to everybody else, right? So I did that. I started Sweet Riders in Japan, and then I moved back in 2015. Started Sweet Riders here, so this year is my 10th anniversary. I was invited to coach here by United Riders of the Crowsnest Pass, and we've been a conglomerate group ever since now. It is a hidden gem. A lot of people don't know about it. They just drive right through and hit Fernie all the time.
Yeah.
We got the Canadian National Enduro Series to come here. So that put us on the scene for really good downhill and biking.
Yeah.
After that, we were on the map.
Yeah.
And it's just been growing ever since.
Oh, good.
We've got Pass Powder Keg as the official, but we also have Coleman. We have Saskatoon Mountain. We have Bellevue, which has got some really great trails too. So it's cool because you can choose a weekend you can ride 2 or 3 different networks, right?
Yeah.
It never gets boring.
Yeah.
I want to promote the fun, the safety, keeping your own level, and doing your own journey with progressing your skills, right? The thing here is that we're not a national park, so there's a lot more freedom. And there's a lot of things you can do. Like there's so much hunting, there's ATVs, there's, you know, motocross, there's mountain biking, there's kayaking. Frank is super huge for bouldering now.
Yeah.
Anything you want to do,
Yeah.
we've got it, and it's free. I think it really makes the pass special that way.
Carrie gave us a route for mountain biking, so of course, the next step was to check out the trails for ourselves.
Still climbing. It's beautiful in here though. There's some challenging parts. Overall, definitely a blue.
We capped off our journey with a tour of Blairmore, checking out some of the historical sites and buildings in town. As we hit the road for home, we stopped by Frank to visit the Frank Slide Interpretive Center. Settled at the base of Turtle Mountain, Frank was a coal town established in 1901 that quickly grew to a size of roughly 600 residents. In April of 1903, 110 million tons of limestone slid from the top of the mountain into the town, covering nearly 3 square kilometers and killing dozens of people. On our morning hike, Heather gave us more insight into the slide and the miners caught in it.
All the men who are inside the mountain live. They rescued themselves. It's amazing.
Wow.
They went to the mine entrance. It was all covered with rock. The mine was actually starting to flood. They knew there was a coal seam that went out to the surface, and they mined their way out. But everyone thought they were dead. And then they showed up in the town of Frank. And I think people thought they were seeing ghosts.
Words can only do so much to describe the Frank Slide. The sheer scale of it is something you can only truly comprehend in person. All across the Crowsnest Pass, you're reminded of how massive the coal and logging industries once were. There's an interesting balance you notice in the area. So many of the towns were founded to serve industry, but now that their presence has lessened, the communities have repurposed and embraced that heritage. Many mountain biking and hiking trails are accessible because of old logging roads, and many businesses proudly preserve their century-old stories. There is no shortage of things to do and see in the pass. It's one thing to hear about it, but it's another to walk the trails, meet the locals, and experience the stories firsthand. So make it your next weekend trip. Come for the scenery and stay for the people. They are what make the destination worth visiting. Without them, there wouldn't be a history to discuss or places to explore. They keep the spirit of this area alive. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you down the road at our next après destination.
I'm giving up on settling down, getting out of the small town. Hang a sign, this heart is closed, time to hit the open road. I'm giving up on settling down. I've been left at the altar, been left at the bar.